Hi, my name is Adrian Smith Jr., and this is my week 4 assignment, Terms of Use. So, jumping right in, the first question of this assignment is it a valid contract? Now, my answer to this question is yes. Priceline has the terms and condition posted on every page, and there's also a place right before you check out titled Reservation Terms and Booking Conditions. Right below is a sentence that tells you to agree to the conditions by clicking confirm your reservation. Basically saying that if you click, you have read the conditions and you do agree. Um, Now, in the case I found of, I'm gonna say Guyen versus Barnes and Noble. Sorry, hard to pronounce that name. But Nguyen of Guyen versus Barnes and Noble, uh, the court instructed that a textual notice of terms of use, such as final checkout screen reminding the user to review the terms, would likely give rise to sufficient notice. Now, in this case, Barnes and Noble was not able to prove that Guyen assented to the agreement because they could not prove that Guyen was on constructive terms of notice. So basically, there's no way to prove that they actually read it. You know. However, according to an article I found on FosterSwift.com, generally speaking, and this is quote, generally speaking, courts will enforce terms and conditions that are incorporated by reference into a written contract, but are only available online. However, as with many issues of contract interpretation, a case by case fact specific analysis is required. Now, in reference to the second question, are visitors bound to it or should they have to click agree? Um, I do not think that visitors are bound to these terms unless they click agree or, in other ways, assent. So I like to use the case of Schnabel and versus uh, Trilogiant Corp. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with these names. However, the underlying dispute of this case is basically a father and son named Schnabel, uh, who signed up for they signed up online for a program that provides discounts and so forth, other services in consideration of monthly fees. So, following the enrollment, they received an email from the defendant, which is the Trilogen company. I'm going to say Trilogen, with additional terms and conditions, including mandatory arbitration provisions and so forth. After being charged membership fees for a number of months, the Schnabels, I'm sorry, each canceled their membership. So both father and son canceled the membership, and they wanted a full refund. When the company refused to provide more than a partial refund, the Schnabels they took out a class action lawsuit against the Trojan company. So they were claiming that it was unlawful and unfair and deceptive practices was the case. So Trilogen responded by seeking to enforce the arbitration provisions in the terms and conditions that they had updated from the time that they had previously agreed. So um, after they uh, after they tried to update the terms and conditions and well, they tried to get them to adhere to the secondary contract, but this let's see here. The district court concluded that the Snobbles never agreed to the additional terms and conditions, including the arbitrary provision, and the defendant appealed. So therefore, they tried to get the court to say that hey, these guys are uh, they did assent to the secondary email, but they didn't, so they appealed and they took it to a higher court. In the case that they took it to the second court, they stated their uh, determination was that acceptance need to be expressed, but where it is not, there must be evidence that the offeree knew or should have known of the terms and understood that acceptance of the benefit would be construed by the offerer as an agreement to be bound. So since they never opened the emails that were sent to them, there's no way to prove that they should have known about the update to the agreement. And this in this case, they had the company could not prove that they assented to this information. And moving on to the third question. Excuse me, sorry. If you have a dispute with Priceline, can you sue them? Well, my particular answer in this case would be yes, and it says here why or why not. This is true because they have it written in the terms of use that you may go through arbitration or small courts claim, or take them to small claims court if they are not able to resolve their claim within 60 days. So they do have that small clause in there, but yes, it is possible to take them to small claims court. So with the fourth and final question, what changes would you recommend? My thoughts on their terms and conditions are that, as most companies, it seems as if they're trying to hide it or hide them with the small font. It's kind of, if you don't read the thin line, you'll miss it. I found a nice article on CharlesFranklinLaw.com that had a few things that I thought could help the situation. Those are providing the terms and conditions in a conspicuous manner, providing the user a clear opportunity to review the terms and conditions, which goes hand in hand with the statement from the earlier case with the Shibakos. Ensuring that the terms and use conditions remain easily accessible to a user even after he or she assents to them, and not including any unilateral, I'm sorry, I messed that word up, amendment clauses or modifying the terms and conditions without first obtaining new consent from the users, which is another thing that did not work out in the Triligent case. I believe that doing these things will better Priceline's chances of winning more disputes over terms and conditions. This concludes my presentation on terms and conditions. Thank you.